Hey, it's
Yay!
11 o'clock. It is time to start our Tower Talkers 392 meeting for this Thursday evening. I'd like to introduce our president, Dana Terry.
Welcome to a fun meeting tonight, the good old days. Nice to see you all so dressed up and looking so fine. Couple of quick notes. Saturday night, I hope that you all saw the invite I put out on our Facebook page. I've talked to Joanne Monroe. We will be making cards for her at my house at 4 o'clock. For anybody that would like to join, please feel free. I would like to have a head count so I know how many to expect. She is going to come and participate. So she will be here and we will make cards. She needs about 50. I think I probably have at least half of that on hand. So we'll just make as many as we can make while she's here and turn those over for her. The question I have for this group is, do we, as a club, want to purchase postage for her for those thank you cards? We had kind of mentioned it, but we didn't really nail down anything on that. So that's my question to this group.
Okay, number one, how much? Number two, we need a motion.
Well, she said, when I asked her how many thank you cards she thought she needed, she gave me the number of 50. Okay. So 50 stamps, or I don't know how many come in a roll. I can do a quick Google on that.
A roll is 100, and the books are 20. There's 20 stamps in a book, and there's 100 in a roll.
So we could either do 2 or 3 books and give her extra, or we can short her, whichever you guys want to do. So that's a consideration. So I'll leave it up to you guys. If somebody wants to make a motion, I wanted to throw it out there for consideration.
Yeah, so they have a cost. I don't know what stamps are.
I think stamps are 50. Are they 50 cents now? Just a moment. I'll tell you in just a moment.
Heavens.
Because a stamp costs, oh my goodness. They will
so
increase
60 stamps would be 30 bucks. 53 cents?
63 cents.
Holy cow.
As of January 22nd, 63 cents, which means
people don't mail anything.
So we're talking, oops, my math is bad.
Okay. 63 times
37.80.
A book of stamps is $12.60.
Okay, so it'll be 24, 25, 20 for 2 books.
So do we want to buy a book? I mean, a couple of books?
Yeah.
All right, I can send, just let me know who to send. I can send $10.
25,
we have
20
money in our account.
We can take it out of the club's fund since we're all agreeing with if we pass the motion.
I make a motion that the club purchase 2 books of stamps at $12.60 per book, a total of 20 to be purchased by our treasurer, who has the funds, which would be Stephanie, to give to Joanne Saturday night to assist in the cost of sending thank you cards.
Okay.
I second.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion then? Stephanie, would you be able to get that purchased for Saturday? You're on mute. I don't know if you're still here or not.
She may be frozen.
If Stephanie can't do it, I can do it. I still have a debit card on the account. I can run up and purchase them. I don't know if that changes the motion.
Do I have to modify the motion since I did say
her or I can do it. we can
We can-
accomplish the goal.
We
I
can- you
modify
can
the motion to be a member of the club.
To delete the words by Stephanie and add the words modify by member of the club. Perfect.
Right.
And Terry-Anna's suggestion, I think
Yes.
Stephanie is the secretary. Because it's a long motion, send it to her in the chat for her
Okay,
records.
okay,
It's basically anytime you have a motion that's over, 5 words, you should always write it down and send it to them.
I will send it.
5 words. So yeah, she'll be back.
Okay, she must have just dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a
A vote?
motion and we have a second.
Yep.
An amended. Do we need a second for the amended, Barb?
I vote, yeah, second to accept the motion as amended. We all vote on that. Yes. Then we can vote on the motion.
Okay, let's vote on the amended motion to accept the motion as amended. All
Yes.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so any discussion on the amended motion then? So
We've
I
already
think the
accepted it.
plan would be, we're good to go. So do we need to actually vote on the motion? Okay. Unless there's any further discussion. Are we ready to vote? Anybody have anything else they want to discuss? Okay. Should we wait for Stephanie?
Well, we've got a quorum.
Okay. All
Yeah.
of those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Okay. So that's Saturday night. If you would like to come, Ray, if you and your wife would like to come, please let me know. 4 to 7. And my thought is that anybody that comes, if you'd like to chip in, I thought we could just order pizza
Sounds
and
good.
have a fun little pizza party. I have drinks, so no need to worry about that, but unless you want something special. But yeah, I think that would be fun. I have one friend that may join, but I'm not sure. So it sounds like we'll have a pretty small group, but we'll have fun.
My granddaughter's gonna come if that's all right.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you, but yeah, that's totally fine.
Am I signed in twice?
Yes,
Now
you
you
are.
are.
And by the way, Stephanie, I put the motion in chat, but I don't think you were here yet. So I put it in again so that you have it
Yeah, you might.
worded
Okay.
for your thing.
For the record. Yeah, and I was just about to post it again, so good job.
Stephanie, you'll need to let me know if you can get the stamps or if you need me to, since either one of us can do it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we do have training this weekend. And I will open that up to Shed, Barb, anybody that wants to talk about district training for the weekend. Anybody have anything they want to say? Ray, I don't know if are you able to attend the officer training? It's Saturday,
This Saturday.
10 to 1.
It's 10
Yes.
to 1, yes. But we should be finished probably a little bit before 1. The district leaders, incoming district leaders have a training they have to be at by 1. So so that's why it's kind of abbreviated training. So
We've got a keynote on
Yes.
unity. Yes. Which is a feature in Toastmasters International, and then club officer training. And Terry-Ann and I will be there unless we want Shed to have a heart attack. Because
He's liable to lose his
training.
hair.
In person?
What was that, Steph?
I said in person?
No,
It's all
online.
virtual. All
It's all
virtual.
virtual.
No reason. You can sit in your chair and fall asleep during it.
Yes. Cool. So
But
and you
and
should
just a
have
reminder,
registered.
just a reminder, this is prior to 1 July, so we want to make sure we keep the list. So 1 July is when we can enter the data. We can't enter it before that, but we always want to do one before, and then
Enter what? Enter what?
the officer training. It takes effect 1 July.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Is it
Okay,
going to be, we have to be in person.
it's virtual.
Okay. Where,
And
what's the address there?
If you go to the
The
website,
address? Okay.
d22.toastmasters.org, is that right? Yes. Go to the calendar,
yeah.
and then if you click on that, on the date of the training, it will take you to the registration.
Yeah.
And are you getting the newsletter? It goes out every Monday at 3:00.
Yeah. I think I
And the
did.
newsletter has the link as well. That's right.
And just to remember, all steps are presents train, you get a part of incentive. So however many clubs, of course, it is. So, something to add to the treasure.
That's you.
Oh, that may, I don't want to deal with nobody about it.
That's all I have, unless anybody else wants to add anything. And if not, I will leave you with the joke of the day before I turn this meeting over to our Toastmaster. Anybody want to add anything? Okay, what did the horse say after it tripped?
Giddy up.
Oh,
I have fallen and I can't giddy up.
oh,
I tried to hit my mic and I hit the video instead.
With that, I turn this meeting over to our fabulous Toastmaster of the evening, Miss Terry Ann Porter, in her disguise. Take it away.
Well, welcome to the meeting, everyone. Tonight's theme is the good old days. Looking back, in the 70s, we had bright colors. I was half the size that I am now. My hair was just as long as stringy then as it is today. The only difference is I now part it on the sides, then I parted it in the middle. And I like to wear the floppy hat. My mother didn't like it because when she was driving, it always seemed to get in the way of her vision. I don't understand these things. Oh, and my grandmother, to keep me nice and warm, crocheted this shawl for me when I was to attend a special dance. And so she created, so this I still have to keep me nice and warm. Well, since the 70s, I have pretty much doubled in size, but look at the woman I have become. I'm twice the woman I was then. So times were different, quite different then. I remember my very first, I would babysit and they would just give me whatever they wanted to give me. So I could be there until 2 a.m. from maybe 7 o'clock. So until 2 a.m. And by the way, at midnight, the TV, you heard the Star Spangled Banner played and you saw this waving flag on the TV. And then there was no TV after midnight. And let me tell you, those last 2 hours were really hard. But I would do all that, and I might, if I was lucky, I might get $2 or $3. Working in the restaurant, I made 75 cents an hour. Boy, have times changed. So tonight, with the fun of us enjoying the good old days, let's see how our meeting is going to be carried on. We have many roles to fill in order to keep our meeting moving smoothly. We have a word master. Our word master tonight is Shed. Shed, would you please tell us what is the word master and what do you have for us?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. The word of the day is enthusiastic. We want to try to bring energy to our meeting. And hopefully this word is, which is an adjective, can do that. It is, the definition is having or showing intense and eager enjoyment, interest, or approval. An example of usage is the promoter was enthusiastic about the concert venue. Some similar words to think about when you're using this word is eager, avid, passionate, and energized. My role as word master is this plays an important role in Toastmasters and helping our club members improve their grammar and vocabulary. And that is, I hope this work today does in our meeting, and not only in our meeting, but throughout our daily lives. And that is my definition of the word master today. Am I also the all counter?
No, we have someone else to do that
Okay.
tonight.
So I will track the usage of enthusiastic, and I will also try to capture any other good phrases that we have throughout our meeting. Thank you, Terry Ann. Back to you.
Very good. Thank you very much. You know, I was so enthused and excited every summer. I would put on my swimsuit and I would go lay out in the sun. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, so nobody really saw me. But you know, one thing that we have today that we did not have then, sunscreen. I had so many sunburns. Well, I was going to introduce our counter grammarian, but Zoom has temporarily removed him from the system. So as soon as he can pop back in, we'll go to that. Let's go to our another role that is vitally important for our meeting, and that is the timer. And our timer tonight is Dana. Dana, how will you be showing us what the timer does, and how will you do your role?
Thank you, Terry Ann. I am so enthusiastic to show you my way of timing this evening. Timer is responsible for keeping this meeting on track and making sure that all of the speaking roles stay within their allotted time. Most of the speeches have a time allotted for 5 to 7 minutes. Is that your time for tonight, Shed?
Yes, ma'am. 5 to 7 minutes. Yes.
Great. So at the 5-minute mark, Shed will receive a green M&M. At the 6-minute mark, Shed will receive a yellow M&M. And drum roll, at 7 minutes, Shed will receive a red M&M. I will follow up with the corresponding paper colors just in case you missed the little M&M. For table topics, we have green at 1 minute, yellow at
1.5. 1.5.
and red at 2. And for are we doing an evaluation or round robin tonight?
We do have an evaluator tonight, yes.
Evaluation, we have green at 2, 2:30, and 3.
Now, I am curious, Dana. They have 30 seconds afterward to complete. If they go beyond the 30 seconds, are you going to eat the red M&M?
That was my question. Oh, no, eat them.
I will
Do
eat
you
them
have a
all.
Hershey kiss or something
I
unwrapped?
will eat them all at the end of the meeting. Thank you for asking. And back to you, Terry Ann.
Oh, thank you. I look forward to watching our timing tonight. Ray, welcome back. And I understand that your role tonight is that of a counter grammarian. Would you please tell us what does that mean?
Yes, I will. My job as our grammarian is to count all of the audible pauses, any wrong use of language, and also any correct use of language that really stands out and makes your speech or table topic special to the meeting tonight. That is my job tonight. Terry Ann.
Thank you very much. Well, let's get on with the meeting. We have a very special presentation tonight. Our own district director, Shed Mayberry, and club member as well, will be speaking to us tonight. Have you ever reminisced back over the last 30, 40, 50 years of your life to where we are today and where we may be in 30, 40, 50 years from now? In a humorous presentation, Shed, who has suddenly developed a full head of hair, will present how the good old days were simpler than today and a look at where we may be in the future. Relax your mind, your soul, and bring your 60s, 70s, and 80s outfits and attitudes as we take a ride down memory lane. Giving his presentation out of the Strategic Relationship Path Level 3 elective, Connect with Your Audience. Please welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Jed Mayberry with his speech titled The Good Old Days. Jed.
Thank you, Terry Ann. Enthusiastically, I want everyone to go down this road with me and just think about the good old days for you. Now, the good old days for some may be 5 years, 10 years, 30, 50, back to when the Kansas City Chiefs last won the Super Bowl. But the good old days is just that. What are your good old days? But I want to take you down on a path of my good old days, and I'm going to touch on 4 areas. It's going to be fashion, the culture, the products, and then home cooking. So as I go down the good old days path with you, just think about how things are today, how things were back 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, and then how you perceive things to be in the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years. For me, it's going to take me back a little bit while longer since I'm in my 50s. But I want to go back, way back to where it was really the good old days. First, I want to cover the fashion. We really had fashion back in the 60s and 70s. When you got material, there was no holes in it. It was all together and you didn't show anything because mama always told you, you don't show the boys anything. And that's the way it was back in the good old days. So as you walked into the fashion, it was all about who was the best dressed, who was the shiniest. And as you see, sometimes when you walk in, you have to wear shades when you're so shiny. When you had an afro back in the good old days, it was an afro. Not today when the kids wake up and they on one side and that's the way to go out the house. No, before you left the house, it was nice and round. Or if you was the type where, like Terry Ann said, the long hair going all the way down, combed out. But there was no kinks in your hair. There was no, the way you woke up in your hair going outside. The clothes were not wrinkled. When you went outside, your clothes were smooth. It was like when you touch it, just run your hands down to the silk. And then when you walked inside, once again, everyone was shining from the head down to their tippy toes, down to their shoes. I think about even in the military, when we had to shine our boots, it was all about whose boots were the shiniest. Now for the military, they just wear it, go in the dust, and that's the way they are. So fashion was really a fashion statement back in the good old days. Going forward, how do you think about fashion going to be forward? No disrespect, but nowadays they're wearing the holes in the jeans. That is the fashion statement for today. 50 years from now, what is the fashion statement going to be? Maybe it'll come back around. The cycle may come back around, but we will see. Next is culture. You had to be tough back in the good old days. There was no staying inside watching video games. It was mom saying, get out of the house now and don't let the back door hit you on the way out. So when you went outside, it was playing down in the creek bed, riding your bike in 100-degree weather all day. How many of you see kids today outside in 100-degree weather and not coming in the house to take a break or whatever? I remember back when I was in my culture was I was playing football with some friends. I actually went down and hurt my jaw. My jaw was like this big. And everyone thought, Shed, are you going home? No. If I go home, I have to stay in the house. So I didn't come in the house until late at night when my mother saw me. And I told her it had been like that for like 4 hours. She asked me why I didn't come in the house because I knew I was going to have to stay in the house. I wanted to stay outside and play with my friends. So the culture back then was outside playing, networking with your neighborhood friends, playing with everyone, going to everyone's house to eat different foods. But today's culture is all about in front of the video game, not really networking. 50 years from now, what do you think the culture is going to be for those kids that are not getting outside? Drinking from the water hose. Well, nowadays we don't do that. Or ride in the back of a pickup truck. That was a thing back when I was young. But of course, safety first today. Next is product. My very first car was a 57 Chevy. That thing was hard. It's not like cars today when you hit a bump, the whole fender comes off. That car would hit another car and ask that other car, are you hurt? Because that was tough. That was real steel back in the day. So 57 Chevy was my first vehicle that I had. Things back then were built to last. Not today, every 5 years you're trading things in. No, back then you drove a car over 300,000 miles. Last is home cooking. When you walked into grandmother's house, you knew immediately you was going to leave that house with a full belly. Just coming in, I was full, just smelling all of the different aromas that she had cooking. Today, I know women are in the workplace, and that is a good thing. I applaud that. That means maybe the men need to be getting up on some cooking skills. So when we think about home cooking, I spent 12 years in Germany, never ate out of a box in 12 years. Potatoes coming directly from the field. Rabbits were homegrown. Today, I have some German friends and their kids are eating macaroni out of a box. I'm like, you're German. They don't eat like that in Germany. 50 years from now, what is the rotation going to be on how that family is going to be? We already talk about our health, diabetes, blood pressure. It's the things that we're eating that are not good for us. So we got to go back to that home cooking. So just a little taste of my background, fashion, we got to bring back the fashion. Culture, we got to get back tough, get out in front of the video games. The products, bring back American steel and home cooking. I've missed some home cooking. And I'm going to tell you, if it's not the women, then men, we need to step up and get in the kitchen and show those kids some good home cooking. So as you reminisce tonight, just think about those good old days. Think about where we are today and think about where we're going to be 50 years from now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shed. Oh my gosh, the memories that brought back. Do you remember that we didn't have, I don't know about you guys, we didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh, and I lived in Texas. Yeah,
There was no air conditioning. You went outside because it was too dang hot outside.
I remember going hunting on the back of a truck, just shooting rabbits.
The times they are changing. Thank you very much. Dana, may I have a timer's report? What was the time on Shed's speech?
You may. I'm very enthusiastic to share that Shed barely made it with 7 minutes and 24 seconds.
Oh, very good. Right in time there.
I usually go over, Dana. I usually go over.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm not the only long-winded one in this group.
You know what I think is funny? You're talking about things in the future. When I was a teenager, even at 5'6", and the fact that I was still taller than most of the boys, I wore those platform shoes. My daughters thought they were so special. 20 years later when they're now in their preteens and they come in with the shoes that they just found. Oh, Mom, you just don't understand. What do you mean I don't understand? I used to wear those. Let's move on to the next portion of our meeting, and that is table topics, that impromptu moment. And that will be led tonight by Toastmaster Stephanie Strader.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. We are going to go over some rosy retrospection. Do you know what that means? We are going to look back at our time, and our memories of it now are going to make those memories seem like they were so much better than they actually were. I do have a PowerPoint presentation with some photos on it. And what I would like to do is show those, and we'll determine who wants to go first. Oh, as a matter of fact, I think I want to have Ray go first. Ray, is that all right with you? All right. Are you enthusiastic about seeing what your topic is?
Wait,
Did he say wheat as in French?
That's what I thought too.
Oui.
Oh, good old days.
My apologies. The kitten is wanting some attention. All right, Ray. There are a lot of different types of jobs that we might have had growing up. I'm going to show you a screen of a lot of different things that were around when I was a child. And I'd like you just to discuss whatever you want to about the screen that you will see. Are you frozen, Ray? Oh, I think he is. Oh, where did Shed go?
You say where did Shed go?
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm here.
Well, Ray
Didn't
disappeared.
recognize you.
Do you want me to go?
Yes, Shed, let's go ahead. Ray dropped off. So let's go ahead and you talk about anything you want to on the screen as it relates to jobs you have had.
Well, Stephanie, going back to the good old days and reminiscing about jobs that I had, it was really not a job. It was mowing lawns. So the picture of the push mower definitely brings back memories. I used to go around and mow grass all around the neighborhood. Today, you don't see kids do that. And it's very expensive, this mower that you're showing, the push mower. When I first met Maslin and we were dating and I tried to impress her, I said, I'm gonna mow your grass today when you go to work. And I saw that she had a push mower like that. I went out and bought her a gas mower, and she told me that she don't use a gas mower. I said, well, you don't have to worry about it because I'm cutting your grass from here on out. And that's the way it's been ever since. McDonald's, I never worked for fast food, but I have much respect for fast food workers. That I've seen a lot of individuals do that, and that is hard work. I think I would rather mow a yard than work in fast food. It looks like babysitting is another hard job. And the one thing I always believe in, if you're a couple, when the dad is left with the baby, you never say, I'm babysitting my own child. It's your child. You're taking care of your child. So give your wife or significant other a break. I never had the opportunity to have a newspaper route, but I loved reading the newspaper back in the day. Today, I don't really like the computer, but I love you can Google anything. I do love that. I do love that. Makes it very easy. So Stephanie, those are the things I want to comment. Thank you for the pictures, and I love this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Shad. I worked at multiple fast food places. My brothers sold the Grit magazine. So they went door to door selling it, and then when it came in, they went and delivered. Barb, I'm curious about how the fashion was in Canada. I'd like for you to take a look at these fashion items and describe to me some of the things that you wore when you were growing up.
Thank you, Table Topics, Stephanie, fellow Toastmasters. I was fashion out of the box because I would take a look at the fashions, but I always did what I wanted to. Yes, I was a tiny little thing. So I loved the platform shoes because then I could come up and look most people, well, close to the eyes. But I had these tiny little skirts and I'd wear bodysuits with them. And I would love to dress up in jeans and a t-shirt one day and then a full suit, dressed to the nines the next. Because it never was up to putting me in this group or this group. That was the fun of it. And I was mistakenly put into sewing, which was the greatest mistake of my life because I didn't know I had a passion for it. So I had a great teacher because she said, class, we're all going to make this. And I would do it and I would do an offshoot of it. I'd change something. I had to be different. And what did that do when I created a dress with different shape and colored sleeves? She put me in a fashion show. Okay, that's not my thing. However, she taught me it's okay to do that. I was the first person to wear fluorescent pink fingernails. And there was a lot of gossip about that back in the early 70s, but it didn't matter. It's establishing your identity and having the fun with it and the confidence to carry it forward. And I've never changed that. I have to follow the rules. I want to know what they are. Can I get around? What can I do? Okay, I'll follow these ones because I have to, but then, let's go have some fun with these ones. Nothing's changed. So fashion set me up. And I just have a good time watching. You can't believe what they're doing today. Madam Toastmaster.
Thanks, Barb. Everybody had to take home ec that was a girl in junior high. Mine was a pullover vest I had to make. I didn't know anything about it and I didn't understand what the teacher was telling me. So I took it home to have my mom help me. My mom is the worst sewer in the world. I almost flunked that part of the class because I had my mom help me. But from what's on the screen, I have on a very similar blouse and I have on hot ice squirt. Let's move to the next topic. Dana. I think you're a little bit younger than some of us that are here. You may not have grown up the way most of us did. I would like you to tell me about how your home comfort was.
Well, you will be surprised to know that my home comfort was not very comfortable. I grew up in a very small town in a house that when I was in fourth grade, I think my parents paid like $5,000 for it. It did not have indoor plumbing. It had the only indoor plumbing we had was in the bathroom because the house was purchased from a very elderly woman and her children paid for her to have a bathroom because they were so afraid that she would fall at night going to the outhouse. So we actually did dishes by filling tubs of water in the bathtub and bringing them into the kitchen and putting them on the table and doing dishes that way. So we did not have air conditioning. We did not even have heat, central heat. We heated the house with a wood stove that we had to cut wood and keep it going at night. So in the mornings, the stove would inevitably have burned out and we would have to, get the fire going. And I remember it being so cold that we would put our jeans on top of the wood stove to let them get nice and toasty before we would put them on and get warmed up. So the air conditioner was not a comfort of life we had growing up. The fan we had, and I can remember getting together in the living room with the box fan and covering it with sheets to make it the tent and listening to 8-track tapes of Linda Ronstadt, You're No Good, You're No Good. So that's kind of my era of growing up with these two items. And I don't remember when we finally got central air, but I'm sure it was heavenly when we did. But no, we did not have the comforts that most other kids my age probably did have growing up. Back to you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Dana. Did Ray join us back again?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, Ray, I gave your topic away.
No, that was a good one too. I could have.
I say, bring it back to him. Bring it back to him.
Okay. How does this work for you, Ray?
That's great.
You might not remember the question.
The question is, and this is right about the time you froze and disappeared. As related to jobs that you've had throughout the years, you can look at these pictures and just get some motivation and tell us about some of the things you did throughout your lifetime with jobs.
Madam Tabletop Ringmaster, fellow Toastmasters. At 7 years old, I had a job. I carried newspapers throughout the town of Fillmore, Missouri, which is a town of about 250 people. I carry newspapers day and night, snow and rain. It did not matter. I made probably $30 a month doing that. I decided that's not enough money for me. I went uptown to our local hardware store. We did have a hardware then. And they had this bright, shiny green lawnmower sitting in the front window. And I said, oh, I think I can make some money mowing grass. I went door to door and I already knew all the people because I carried their newspaper. Can I mow your yard? Oh, sure. I'll pay you $1.50 for a yard. I said, okay, that's great. But the biggest money maker was I went to the telephone company and said, can I mow the little central office yard downtown Fillmore? Sure, we'll pay you $2 to mow that. $2? Wow. I paid for that lawnmower in a week. It was paid for, all $50 of it. I worked at the grocery store. I put up hay bales. I bucked them things, went all the way to the top. The grass seed, the red clover seed falling down on your shoulders and you're itching. But I made money and I had fun because I was working. Ran Table Toppers Masters.
Thank you, Ray, for taking us through some of your early work history. Terry Ann, you had mentioned about babysitting when you were growing up, and they gave you whatever you wanted or whatever they wanted to give you.
It was whatever they wanted to give me. I really got concerned when one point I asked somebody, they said, well, what do we owe you? Well, nobody asked me this. Well, I figured 50 cents an hour seemed fair. And so I told them that. And then they didn't call me back for quite a while. I got concerned. Oh my gosh, does that mean that that was that? And at that point, I was always afraid to tell somebody what I felt I was worth.
My sister and I babysat for a neighbor lady in the apartment complex where we lived, and she also would pay us whatever she wanted. Usually it was a little bit of money, and then she would give us a marijuana cigarette.
It's called a joint, I think, is what the kids call it
Oh,
now.
well, you know,
The
yeah.
good old
No, I
days.
think
The
they
good
called
old
it back then a doobie. All right, Terry Ann, let's talk about modes of transportation.
Modes of transportation. Well, thank you, Miss Table Topics Master. About the time that I was probably 14, the nearest town was 15 miles away. And the school bus owner offered to take a school bus load of kids on Saturday night to the roller skating rink over there. So on Saturday late, early evening, Mom would take us into town if we had been good, because it was 3 miles into town. And you didn't just drive that 3 miles. I mean, after all, gas at that time was what, 12 cents a gallon? I mean, come on. So we would get on the bus and we would go roller skating. And then he would bring us all home. I think mom and dad took us there so that they could have a few hours away from us. But either way, we had a very good time. My bicycle and I, we lived out in the country on gravel roads. Well, it's not always easy to ride a bicycle on. I had many an accident and cuts and scrapes and bruises and such, but I had a friend about a mile up the road, so I would ride up to her house and then I'd have to ride back down. Never did master the skateboard. I could fall off that thing, so all I had to do was look at it and I'd fall off. But my first car, I couldn't tell you what year or model. Mom says maybe it was the 50s. It was just some cheap thing they were able to get, but it was a convertible. It was a big, long, black car. And I'd put that top down and I'd drive down that country road. Hey, it's how I attracted my first husband. We took that car, the restaurant I was working at, we put their sign on the side of the car and we went into the local parade that Labor Day weekend. Boy, I liked that car. I looked good in a convertible. But that was my various modes of transportation as I was growing up. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thanks, Terry Ann. You probably couldn't do these kind of skates on the gravel road either, could you?
No, those didn't work.
You know that statement, it's just like riding a bike, you never forget how? What if you never mastered the riding the bike? My first car was very similar to this. Do you see how big that is? I had a 1972 Buick Electra Limited. It was massive. I'm 5 foot tall. I was 5 foot tall and about 80 pounds when I got it, and it was enormous. How are we doing on time? Should we stop our table topics?
I think we have time for Barb to ask you a table topics question, since she is always our table topic expert.
Yes,
Oh.
and as soon as you stop sharing, I've got one for you. Okay. Let's do share screen. Share. Miss Stephanie. We all know about the foods of the 70s. There was jellied salads. I remember those. And there was always something bacon was wrapped around, and the good old cheese ball. What were some of your favorite childhood food memories that you may not have anymore?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I will enthusiastically tell you the things that I did not like growing up. Peas. I had textural issues. I sat by the window no matter where I was eating. I had a little hole in the screen that I created. And when I was served peas, as many as I could get without anybody looking, I put in that little hole in the screen and flicked it through. I would imagine that there was a massive mound of peas under that window at some point. The same at my grandmother's, I did that as well. My dad's mom cooked a lot of different things than my mom's mom did. She cooked one Sunday afternoon some fried eggplant. That's another texture I just couldn't do as a child. I remember tasting that for the first time and cutting it and putting that in my mouth and running for the trash container. And I'm sure my grandmother was so embarrassed for me to do that. I couldn't keep it in my mouth. We had a lot of potato soup. It's not like what my husband used to make. The cheese balls, I really didn't have a lot of until I worked at HCA, and a friend of mine made them and called them crack balls. And it was the cream cheese with the minced chip beef and garlic. Oh my goodness. You just couldn't stop eating them. I had plenty of Jello mold salads. Those were good too. And at school, if I didn't like what they were serving, which was a lot, the milk carton would get filled with food and closed back up so that the cafeteria ladies that walked around monitoring whether you were eating your food wouldn't know that I had done so. Back to you, Barb.
Oh, thank you. You know, I was thinking that's one thing that has really changed, with the fact that here's your topic, you've got visuals. If I'm in the room, there's no way I can put that together in a minute. So well done.
I will tell you that picture you had there of the bacon wrapped, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Those looked a lot like, oh, never mind. I can't even think of the word now.
They look like bacon wrapped smoked oyster. Yeah. Oh, good job.
I think that ends our time now for table topics. I'm going to pass it back to our Toastmaster, Terry Ann Porter.
Thank you, Stephanie. That was awesome. Great table topics, great memories from everyone. Dana, do you have an enthusiastic timers report for us?
I'm so enthusiastic to give you this report. We will start with Shed, 1 minute and 49 seconds. Barb, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Ray, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Myself and Terry Ann were both exactly 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Stephanie was 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Back to you, Terry Ann.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next portion of our meeting, and that is led by our general evaluator. And tonight, our general evaluator is Toastmaster Barb Grenade.
I am. So thank you, everyone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give Shed's evaluation, and then we'll call on reports and wrap it all up. Some interesting things I noticed. Okay, so Dana, for purposes of Terry, of timing, I'm doing Shed's report. And I will tell you, I wanted to purposely go over time because I thought like Terry Ann, and I wanted to see you eat the M&Ms. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about Shed, your speech. First of all, the purpose of this project is for Shed to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. Sometimes I think it's just as hard to connect with a familiar audience. So I found it applied. The bad news is, Shed, I don't have much to tell you to improve on this. I know. But let's talk about some high points. First of all, you gave a great intro to Terry Ann to set up your speech. That was wonderful because we already, our dopamines are amping up and we're ready to have a good time with this. Now, I don't know if I could have taken you seriously with that hair and glasses, okay? So there is no way that you could have told me anything serious. Now, your opening sentence incited enthusiasm by asking all of us, come along back in time. So we were going together. Yes. You had great descriptors about what there wasn't back in the days of fashion. And it brought back visuals. And I remember so many of those. By the way, I love the term tippy toes. That's not what I picture coming out in military, ammunitions, but it kind of worked. So this was poignant, funny, and the perfect speech to connect with an audience. Now, here's what I really want to acknowledge, because unless you were really looking at it, you wouldn't think about it. But I want to acknowledge how you constructed this speech, because you took us back and talked about how it was with the path, and you had both enthusiasm and nostalgia in it. Then you compared it to areas about today and what doesn't work. And then you took us forward, what's going to happen in the future, what's 50 years from now. But the best part was you moved back and forth seamlessly between the past and today, and it didn't seem disjointed at all. So there were some times I laughed. So you may be able to give a humorous speech in the future. That may be your challenge to work on. But the best point of this whole part was you incited so many wonderful memories in me. And what was really ironic in all of this is you described so many things that I did growing up 2,500 miles north of you. And that's what's amazing about this. So thanks for the memories, and it also reminded me of things I did not miss. Thank you very much. And yes, I would never go in the house if I could. I would stay outside Because if I went in the house, they'd have me do something or make me go to bed or something like that. So, yes. Well done, Shan.
Thank you, Bar. I just want to say, being evaluated by you over the years have taught me if I'm gonna talk about the past, now, and the future, I better stick with it because I say she's gonna catch me.
But you did it so well this time.
Thank
It
you.
was just flowed beautifully. I loved it. Excellent. Yeah, this might be one you may be able to turn into a humor speech. We'll work on you. Okay. So,
Ted, can you stand up back by the Toastmaster sign? Is that a shirt or a dress? I can't tell.
or a couch covering.
No, it's a shirt.
That would
Wow.
have been my feedback is to stand up because we need to see more of what you're wearing.
Yeah, sitting down like that, I couldn't tell if it was a shirt or a dress. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
quite.
That was the
I
one thing I
think
could
if
have
this
did
would have
better.
been a humorous speech, having you stand, you could have given much more body language and
Yes.
the physical humor as well as the verbal humor in talking about, especially the clothes and things that were done, you know, in
Yeah.
the good old days compared to now. Because I really was curious what the rest of your outfit looked like.
Yes. It's kind of like an African garb.
And what dates it are the Paisleys on it? I had so many things with Paisleys in this. Yeah, but that's the hippie age. What can I say? Yes, I know. I started when I was 2. Okay, so let's talk about the meeting. First of all, let's call on some reports, and then I'll give an overall ideas of the meeting. So, Mr. Shedd, talk about the word of the day, please.
Yes, Barb. Almost. I don't know why I keep wanting to hit the video. So the word of the day, enthusiastic. I wanted to try to bring energy to the meeting. Barb knows whenever I'm at a meeting, I'm always, let's get energized. I don't want anybody to come and say, oh, that was a. So I wanted to bring a word that brings energy. So enthusiastic, I thought could do that. Everyone did a great job of the usage of the word. I only used it once, but Terry Ann, you used it 3 or 4 times. All of you used it 3 or 4 times. And I thought the meeting went great on enthusiastic, being enthusiastic about the meeting. The only thing I want to add before I turn it over to Ray is, Terry Ann, I love how you say that you've doubled this. No, we've all doubled in size. So don't worry about that. I can't lose it no matter how often I go to the gym. It's there. But thank you for everyone using the word. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And let's move into Ray. How did we do tonight in the all-counter grammarian field?
Well, speaking of weight, this is my graduation day suit and tie
Oh my gosh.
that I wore back 51 years ago.
Oh
when I
my God.
crossed the Fillmore High School gymnasium floor with 17 of my classmates.
I had 17 too.
At that, I weighed 175 pounds back then, and I am down to about 172 pounds now. So I fit right in this.
Good job, Ray. Good
You're the
job.
kind of person that we hate.
Yeah, yeah.
With my two-tone, I don't have my two-tone brown shoes that I wore back then because my wife made me get rid of a lot of my stuff. And Terry Ann, you mentioned leisure suits. I looked all over the house. My mother made me a brown leisure suit. I had that for years. It went to the thrift store about 5 years ago.
Whoa.
That's what
I have to know what made you keep that suit for 50 years.
I never throw anything away.
Your house looks
Are
pretty
you-
tidy
you're
there.
a
I would
hoarder.
think that
This is the upstairs.
you should choke on an M&M.
Downstairs. Oh, boy. Enthusiastic. Yes, Shed, you bring the enthusiasm. That is no doubt about that to a meeting, and that's what we need more of here, Tower Talkers, to keep the candle burning here. You were loaded with phrases with in your speech that epitomized the era that you were talking about. You don't show anything. Everybody had the long skirts or all of that, and don't show nothing. Your clothes were smooth. I thought that was great. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's an old time saying there. The car could hit another, and I think you said would say, "Are you all right?" That the only thing I picked up on you had one you had a that was. Dana had two so's. Barb, you had dressed to the nines. I think that was great. Yeah, you started out with I taught, then you went to she taught at the beginning of one of your sentences. You had three so's, and two ands. Terry Ann, you had the only thing I had, you had an RR. And I think mom, the double hit on mom would take us there. I, I like I like the top. I looked good in a convertible. Stephanie, you had one off, you had a da and an I love this phrase. She would pay us a little bit of money and a marijuana cigarette. That was great. You're saying if I had textorial issues and then crap balls, I thought that was good. That's my report for tonight. Good job, everybody.
Excellent.
Good job, Ray.
Thank you.
Marijuana cigarettes.
I did not inhale. My sister took them.
Oh, and Dina, when you finish your coughing, can you give a timing report for my evaluation?
Actually, you were very short. I only had 3 minutes and 14 seconds.
Woohoo! I didn't get to eat the M&Ms off of me. Okay.
Hey, Barb, really quick before you go into your evaluation.
Right.
So I have two books here. I was hoping more people would have came, but hey, they lose out. So I know Carrie Ann is recording this. For the best dress, I believe Stephanie should get it, right?
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So Stephanie, I'm gonna mail this to you. Speaking for Success by Bob Huey. And then Ray
You
for
didn't
fitting
choose
in.
yourself?
And then Ray for fitting in his suit 50 years ago, 17 minutes to your dream by Darren LaCroix. I get these both in the mail to you guys.
Ray, do you have
Fantastic.
any mothball
awesome.
holes?
Thank you, Shad.
Excellent. Okay, let's talk about the meaning. And I don't have many suggestions for us. First of all, oh, by the way, Shad, for your information, my car, 56, two-door, baby blue, two-tone hardtop. That was my Chevy. That was it. Still the best car ever. Okay, so your word of the day, enthusiastic, was perfect. I loved your choice for it, and it fit in. Dana, about the business meeting. I like that you covered what we had to. And yes, we practice parliamentary procedure because this is where we learn. And you got it. It was well done. covered the training this weekend. So good. And then we get to move to Terry Ann. Great personal memories because it was twofold. We got to learn more about you, but it also brought up something in us and brought us back. And it connected all of us because all of us double dig side, except for somebody in that corner over there. Okay. But it was just connecting a group together online is always the goal, and you succeeded right from the beginning. I don't know if I can take you seriously in the hat and glasses either, but okay. So manage the meeting flow throughout, perfect. And this group, we're not so formal and we can inject comments and stuff in between, and it suits this group fine. And just an FYI, Shed, I calculated, since there's 3 of us out of 8 doing the training this weekend, we must have the highest ratio per member of trainers in the district. That's awesome. Okay. Dina, as timer, couple of key points. I liked your creativity, and I really liked that you confirmed Shed's timing for his speech. The only downside to the whole thing is now I want chocolate. Okay, what can I say? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, just add insult to injury. Miss Stephanie.
Would you like to know a real OCD fact about me and my M&Ms?
Yes. You have
I
to
can only eat 2 at a time, and they had to be 2 different colors.
When I eat mine, they always have to be the same color. I have to finish off all of this color before I'll start eating on this one.
Oh,
What
my
was
Lord.
Shed's time?
7:24. I put it in for your evaluation.
7:24.
Okay.
And Stephanie, table topic master. I love the term rosy retrospection. What a cool term. And you obviously put forethought into this. They were general enough. Any of us could have answered any one of those. And it brought back, didn't matter who was answering, I had memories back on each one. Really well done. Shed, loved your speech. Okay, it was perfect for this theme. And I think you could do that speech again, but you could also do it with different aspects. Comparing the fashions and cultures and stuff of yesterday to today. Are we advanced or not? What's it going to be in the future? There's so many ways you can develop that single speech into different projects. So it's kind of a cool idea. Overall, everybody did awesome. The evaluator couldn't find anything wrong with Shed's speech, which is not like her, so she must be off her game. But it was a fun meeting, and I was looking forward to this so much. And I'm turning it back over to you, Miss Terry Ann, who also is going to test. I don't know if she's going to test us how well our memories are from back then or just from this meeting.
Oh, I am I?
Yeah, well, the quiz master.
Did I put myself as quizmaster? I don't see that, but I just certainly could. Now that I've just been announced that I'm going to.
And Shed, are you wearing platforms? That's hilarious.
No. Now I was thinking about that in my speech. I was like, if I say tippy toe, they're gonna want to see my shoes.
Oh, I'll add one more thing. By the way, the platforms, Terry Ann, I had the huge platforms because I'm so short. I kept them into the 80s until they finally gave out. It was the only way I could reach the top shelf of my cupboards. So, yeah, I wish they'd bring those back.
Oh my, the memories have been wonderful. Somebody has put in chat bell bottoms. I bought the bell bottoms. And in our little town, you were in fashion, but if your pants touched they had to cover your shoes. They had to touch the ground. I wore them. I mean, they were frayed on the bottom, but I wasn't going to get rid of them because they were the only pair of pants that I had. I mean, they touched the ground. I still try to do that, even though the lower levels have raised on pants to today's fashion. Mine still go, if not to the ground, they at least go down to the top of my shoes. I'm not giving that up. Hey, I've never been one for fashion anyway. I mean, look at me. Hey, riding down the road in that convertible, I had to have the sunglasses. The floppy hat, I couldn't wear because it would fly off.
Ah,
So curious, does anyone remember what Ray's weight was 50 years
175.
ago?
175.
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
I remember that. What color M&M was Dana going to bring up if you went over 30
Oh,
seconds over the time
Brown
limit?
one.
the
One of
brown.
the brown.
The brown one,
Yeah,
yes.
the brown one.
Yes. It was mentioned in chat and then got brought up in discussion. What is that one fashion thing we did not talk about verbally? Until it was somebody mentioned it in passing. It was brought up in chat.
Oh, the leisure
The leisure suit.
Oh,
Ew.
It's hard to say
Oh,
the
those
zoot suit.
leisure suits, I tell you. Oh, the memories. How many of you now are going to finish the evening and go back into your household and just look around and dance like you did when you were 17 years old? Dances. You know, that's the thing I hate
I
about
was
going to the
born way
dances.
too late because I should have grown up in the disco era. That's my time.
Oh, yeah.
I was
know
just born too late.
Sorry.
Well, did you have bell bottoms at all, Dana? Because they've come back in style multiple times. We had the color variant where it was light at the top and got dark at the bottom, and corduroy bell bottoms were the fun. I couldn't wear them now because I'd catch a fire.
How about this? Now, when I went to school, girls were not allowed to wear pants.
Pants. Yep.
We had to wear dresses, and we walked to school in the snow in Chicago.
Yep.
And
well,
girls
I
could
did in
not
Lenexa.
wear pants. Now, when we could finally wear pants in high school, we could wear pants, but they could not be denim. And I remember the principal calling a school assembly. Girls, your pants cannot be denim. And do not come up to me, lift your leg up in front of me and say, oh, it's here, feel. I'm not going to. Oh, the times, how they have changed. Hey, let me take a quick picture. Everybody give me a smile. I want to.
yeah. Let me put my yeah.
Where's that print screen? But there's the print screen button.
Hey, I just want to say something before the picture.
Yes.
Did anybody used to dance in front of their family? You know, back in the day, it was the Jackson Fives. And my family used to always like, hey, get up here and dance.
Oh.
I was in dance. I had no choice.
Different culture at my house. There was no dancing.
All right.
But my mom went to the dance studio all the time.
Oh,
was
yeah?
that Howard something.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about that. Yes.
Hey, everybody give me your best Tower Talkers Toastmasters smile. All right, I got a print screen and we're going to hope it works. If not, I'll grab it out of the video. Thank you, everybody.
Terry Ann, by the way, I had a day I was in the 11th grade and I had stiletto platforms. I would run around up and down the stairs in them all day, came home, put on my sneakers and sprained my ankle.
I wore platforms in junior high, and I have a tendency to sit on my leg.
Oh,
and then my leg would go to sleep. And then when the bell went off for us to go to the next class, I stood up and my leg was not alive
And you
and
fell off.
I kissed the floor.
Those
But
were
of
the
course,
good old days.
I'm only 5 foot tall, so it wasn't that far.
Well, it has been a very enjoyable evening. I've enjoyed everyone's comments
Yes.
throughout the night. Said great speech. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Table topics, the memories were all wonderful. Speaking of memories, we're bringing an end to an era, and that is this year's Toastmaster year. It ends on June 30th. Last time we voted a new officer, so at our next meeting, we do need to do an officer installation, and I understand that is in the works right now. As we prepare for our next meeting, I will close out my portion and turn it over to our VP of Education, Miss Barbara Grenade.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I want to make just some housekeeping adjustments to the agenda. It's out there, but I just want to clean up some things. I'll send it out. Encourage people to go in and sign up for what you want to do. Shed, we'll have a discussion, talk about who we may want to have them come and do our installation. Okay. And take it from there. But I'm looking forward to this. This was fun, and I'm going to use this theme in other clubs I'm in because of what the atmosphere it creates. And I was Toastmaster last night and couldn't come up with a theme. I didn't even think of this one. So yes, I think that's a good idea.
I think what I enjoyed the most is we could have the theme, we had fun, and my analytical part of me, we could still stay along with the agenda and stay within time.
Yes.
So we could have fun and show how to do a meeting all at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
There's one thing that I noticed in most of my clubs I'm in, we don't do. And one of my clubs I'm in, we do. And we've gotten away from it because we're virtual. When somebody uses the word of the day, you'll notice I always make some kind of motion on it. And it's both acknowledgement of them using it, but it's also that we're paying attention and that. So we may want to think about that going forward. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have fun. That's what our goal is this next year. Let's have some fun because we can learn having fun. More dress-up days. Yeah, except for like, how long will your suit last, Ray?
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
I'm so impressed.
Oh,
I
Ray,
know.
you haven't identified that as what you're going to wear when you go, have you?
This might be it, right? If I can keep my wife away from it, I don't know.
Hide it. That's awesome. And that's all I
Good
have.
job.
Miss Dana, any final words?
No final words. This was a fantastic meeting. Thank you all for being here and participating.